And welcome back to the second devlog for Modern Game Dev 2. I've been working on the game for about 5 days now, and I just wanted to make a quick devlog because I finally got around to finishing the entire development process of the game, which I just want to show as soon as I can, because that's like the main focus of the game, of course, so I need to be getting as much feedback as I can. So I'm just going to show it now, right that I've done it. So let me first just talk about what I've done. So in the original game, it's very simple, which is a good thing, but also like it was kind of boring, and there wasn't much to it. So you just go straight through the phases, and the whole thing with the publishing was very lazy, and the whole thing with the marketing was kind of confusing. And also the only having 3 development stages instead of 4 was a bit of a change that I wanted to make. So you go from just having the 3 basic stages to having an advanced section for the publishers, a 4th development stage, and a dedicated time slot for the marketing. So what you'll have is, when making your game, you'll go from design, which is the same as the last game. You get to pick actually no, it is different from the last game. So the last game, every design type had like a separate thing, a separate list of features. This one, there's a shared list of features as well as a separate one. So you get 6 shared features and 2 unique features per art style. And you need to pick 5. I don't remember how many you had to pick in the last one. For the code phase, it's the exact same. You got to pick 4. I don't remember about the last one. But also a thing you'll notice I've done is added this summary, which is to make everything a lot more clear. So it tells you like how optimal what you've chosen is, how long it's going to take, and if you've satisfied what you should. And then the playtest phase is the new one. So you just scroll this budget, and I'm still working on how big this budget should be. I think it's going to scale depending on the size of the game. So the more your game costs to make, the more you'll have to spend on playtesting if you want it at full quality. Or the minimum is always going to be $10,000, and that's always going to be 75%. The cover art is pretty low on my list of priorities. I know it was like a really good feature from the last one, and it will definitely be in this game, but it's not like a core gameplay feature. It's purely cosmetic, so that's going to be one of the last things I code. And then the marketing is a lot more simple. So as I said, instead of it being in between, at the end of the game development, if you don't have a publisher, this window is what comes up once you've finished the cover art. So you will come up with the 4 things, which is also copied from the last game, as well as the budget, and then you can confirm it, and that's done. You don't have to go like in between the game, seek out this marketing button and read whatever it says. You'll have time to just sit here and read. And then there is a recap of everything you've done before you release the game, which I'm not sure how necessary this is, and I'm not sure if I'll keep this, but I do think this is a good thing to have, just to say this is what you've done, now we can release your game. And then the game gets released. So like it was last time, you'll get some reviews. It'll tell you how long it took, the quality, the shelf life, and how much it's going to cost. And then, like the last game, you have this market report that comes up and refreshes monthly, showing how well your game's going. But unlike the last game, it's got these buttons for how many months it's been on the market and how many more it will be on the market. And then the only other thing I've done is loans, which I just finished doing. So the last game had a really bad loan system where there were just 3 preset loans you could take, and they were each like pretty random and pretty bad. This one you get to scale how much you want between 50 grand and 2.5 million. I thought 2.5 million was a fair limit, because any more than that, you can just cheese the game. Like, there's no point in taking out any more money than that. It would kind of be unfair. And for the same reason, I set the max time frame to 7 years. And then you just repay. The interest rate scales depending on how many years you pick. So if you pick 1 year, it's 15%. If you pick 7 years, I believe it's either 30 or 35%. And then anything between that will scale accordingly. And then you repay it. If you go into this menu, it'll tell you like the exact amount. And if you choose to repay it early, you will get a 10% discount. So if I owe like $1 million, I could repay it early for 900 grand. And that is all I've done for the game as of now. So next on my priority list after loans was offices, then staff, then the portfolio. So all I have to do now is bug test the loans, which I've been coding today, so I'll probably bug test them today. And then offices and staff, I won't have time to work on the game tomorrow, so probably Friday I'll do offices and staff. I don't think that'll take too long because I won't be modeling the offices. I'm leaving the 3D to last. Everything cosmetic, like cover art, 3D, company customizations, stuff like that, that's all getting left till last. I just want to make sure the game's functional first. And I will do a quick playtest. I'm just going to set to high productivity so I can show you, because I want to show what I did with the publishers and also how this menu looks. Also, a new feature. Sorry, I can't type today. A new feature is this franchise button. So every time you make a new franchise, once it's done, it's going to come up in this drop down. And you know, if you make 30 games, you're going to have 30 things in this drop down. And you can just keep adding to your franchise. So we're going to be pitching this to publishers. And this is how the publishing system works. So you will be getting offers from publishers depending on the projected quality for your game. So see, I'm making a pretty small trashy game, so their minimum qualities are pretty low and their funding is also pretty low. And then the royalties and marketing each depend on like how good the publisher is. Every publisher has like set things so they're good at some things and bad at others. And I will probably take this deal. I also need to work out what's going on with the time manipulation, because I found out with this menu the whole system of like speeding up time or stopping time is bad for animations, and the fact that I'm trying to put animations into this game, it's not very good. So I might just get rid of this. I'm thinking getting rid of time manipulation and just making development faster so it doesn't feel like you're waiting forever. And then I can just, if I make the months shorter and development quicker, then it'll still cost the same amount of money to develop a game, and the player gets to play the game faster. I think that's the best way to do things if I were to get rid of time manipulation, which I'll probably decide on by the next devlog. This is the playtest phase. So here it scales between 10 and 50 grand. I'm just going to go for the maybe in the middle. So here's your development recap. Looking pretty good. And here we are. So it actually did turn out pretty good. 49.6, which was a lot higher than what the publishers were expecting, which is kind of crazy. Looks like we're going to be making some big money on this. I haven't nerfed this yet, but the first time I made a game, I made like $40 million, and I thought, holy Christ, that can't be good. So I do need to make it a bit more difficult. It looks like this one's only going to be making around 15 million. But that's still, I think that's a lot to have straight away in the game like this. And as you can see, this is now in my franchises menu. So if I want to make a sequel, I just press that franchise. And yeah, so this is how playable the game is now. I think it's gonna move really smoothly after this, and yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll be sure to document whatever happens next.